My name is Janice B. Gordon and I am the problem solver. What I want to talk to you today about is women on boards and this whole issue around quotas. I've talked to a lot of women executives and women in management about this issue, and there seems to be kind of an overriding consensus that we shouldn't go for the EU quota, that there is change that's happening, albeit slow, we don't want to rock the boat. Other arguments that I've heard is what I feel is a very male argument, because I've heard it a lot from men, that they don't want the standards of boards to be reduced, that there'll be lots of women that are recruited just for the fact they're women and they're underqualified to do the role. And that they're not going to be able to cope in that situation, they won't stay. I strongly feel that we should have the quota. In Norway and Sweden, I believe that they did, and they're on the kind of women in management is way higher. But what's actually happened in these kind of Nordic countries is that the culture has changed. And it's not really about the number of women at the most senior level, board level. It's actually about women throughout the organisation, from management and above. And so I, just wanted to propose some alternative arguments to this. Now, the fact is that a diverse board is a better board. It's a more profitable board. That it's more of a consensus decision making rather than groupthink. Women spend 70% of the household income, so they're the main kind of buyers of these products and services that these large and medium companies produce. And so, they really ought to be around the table, because then we're able to produce or develop the products and services that these buyers would want, because we're in the mind of the women that are actually buying. 50% of the kind of professional graduates are women. So the argument about them being less qualified doesn't really hold fire. Yes, it's a fact of life. Women have babies, they have to leave employment. But women hear of so many other stories from women that want to return back into the workplace. But the management, which is male-dominated management, don't see a way of changing the structures in order to accommodate what might be one of their kind of star employees, to enable them to return to work, whether it's phased return or reduced hours. They'd rather lose that very good, well-trained employee than actually kind of accommodate them. Now, I can understand there's a bit of hassle in doing that. This is why I think that the quota will be a good thing in the long run for the UK. The systems and process historically have been developed for men, not for women. In order to change the culture, in order to make it more flexible, in order to accommodate more women being able to return after having children, then there's going to have to be more women in the systems that are actually enforcing those changes. We need more women in senior management, not just at board level, but more women actually coming through the ranks. That means the culture has to change to allow more women to return. There are a lot of women that start out that absolutely see themselves being in senior management, and it's the culture that knocks that out of them. So we need to change the culture. This will benefit not only men but also women, to allow more men with less stigma in order to have more choice about their careers. So it's going to benefit everybody. But it's not something that men will go forward, or not all men. I don't want to bag them all up together, but a lot of men will not go forward, because when you're used to a system and it works for you, you tend to not want to change it. And there's going to be a lot of suspicion as to what the new environment will be. Will this start to undermine men? Will this mean that more women gets promoted over them? And we really ought to think of this, that as almost like a family. It's really about consensus. It's really about balance. It's really about equality. It's really about what's best for business, not only now but in the future. What's best for business is best for families, is best for the whole economy.